Blaine Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3. J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by our own Craig Maxwell from the Auditor's Office. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges. Thank you, sir.
Judge,
Good morning.
Commissioners,
Good morning.
Good morning.
if you'll bow your head. Lord, you give us many blessings, strength, wisdom, goodness, and the ability to forgive. Let us remember that we are all God's children. We remember with heavy hearts those who lost their lives at the Santa Fe High School. And we pray for healing for their family and friends. Let us also continue to remember those who lost their lives in Parkland, Newtown, Blacksburg, Littleton, and all the other places that suffer the loss of loved ones. Even though we don't fully understand why these things happen, we know we can lean on you, oh God, during our time of need. You will answer our prayers. You will hear the call of the needy. Lord, we pray that you continue to respect and listen to each other's ideas, thoughts, and views, even if we disagree. Lord, your vision is far superior to ours. Let us take today and trust that you've put us in a place where we can make a difference. And we have what it takes to make this place a better place in which to live. Let us care for the vulnerable. Let us love the unlovable. Let us reach out beyond our comfort zone and do something to change this world for the better. Your Son came to be our Savior, our role model. He provided us with an example by which to live. What we see as daunting will never compare to what your Son experienced, giving his life so that we may be saved and to grow our faith, to carry us through our difficult times, to which builds endurance, to which grows character, and gives us hope. And hope is what we all want and need. Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Craig. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have two announcements relating to today's agenda, but before we get into that, I'd just like to remind the Court that we will not be having court next week. We will not be having court next week. Our next court date will be the first Tuesday in June. So, members of the Court, if we can go to the Administrator section, item 9A4. We're going to ask that that be held until after close today. And then also, under the Tax Assessor Collector, item 9H2. 9H2. We're going to hold that at this time. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of May the 15th.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have a few proclamations, resolutions, recognitions today, and we're going to start off. The first one is a proclamation regarding Memorial Day service at Mount Olivet, which will occur this coming Monday, and I will make the presentation at that time, so I'll move for the ratification at this time.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. The next The next congratulatory resolution that we have is one commemorating the 75th anniversary of Smokey the Bear. Smokey, come on down. This is the one thing that I can say is most everybody in this room grew up with Smokey the Bear.
Yes.
Some of us were there at the beginning of growing up with Smokey the Bear. Some of us just came late to the game. But I would like to read this proclamation into the record. Whereas on August the 9th, 1944, the Forest Service authorized the creation of Smokey the Bear as a symbol for fire prevention. And whereas in the spring of 1950, as crews battled a major wildfire in New Mexico's Capitan Mountains, they found a badly burned bear that had escaped up a tree. And whereas once the cub was rescued, the New Mexico Department of Game and Fish flew him to Santa Fe for treatment. And the state game warden offered the cub to the chief of the Forest Service as long as he would be dedicated to a conservation and wildfire prevention publicity campaign. And whereas artist Albert Stala created the first poster depicting a bear pouring a bucket of water on a campfire with the slogan, Smokey says care will prevent 9 out of 10 forest fires. And whereas Smokey's slogan became, remember, only you can prevent forest fires, in 1947, and was updated again in 2001 to the current version, only you can prevent wildfires, as a response to massive wildfire outbreaks. And whereas Smokey's message is relevant and urgent today as it was in 1944, as wildfire prevention remains one of the most critical issues affecting our country. And whereas the cub became the living symbol of Smokey the Bear and lived in the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. until his death in 1976, when he was buried at Smokey Bear Historical Park in Capitan, New Mexico. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby congratulate Smokey the Bear on his upcoming 75th anniversary and for all his accomplishments promoting the prevention of unwanted and unplanned outdoor fires. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 22nd day of May 2018. I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have Erin O'Connor that is accompanying Smokey today. She is with the Texas A&M Forest Service. Erin, since I know Smokey can't speak, would you like to make any comments at this time?
Sure. Just thank you so much for having us out today. We appreciate the proclamation and you guys just recognizing Smokey for all his hard work. And just remember his famous saying, only you can prevent wildfires. Just be safe out there with your outdoor activities.
And just one second, because I'm going to come down and present this plaque. Okay, Smokey, come on up here. There you go. Aaron, Aaron, kind of scoot in there beside. If you can, scoot over this way a little bit. There you go. That kind of work with this guy. And she's going to flash at least 3 times. Thank you all very much. Smokey, thank you. Aaron, thank you. Smokey is en route to make it to all 254 counties. And thus far has been to what, Aaron, didn't you say a little over 80? Yes. Well, good luck. Some of those counties, they ain't gonna see no trees. Next, we have a proclamation or a resolution for Mark Fox. Mark, would you come down? And I'm going to ask David to come down with him, our emergency management. There you go. Mark is retiring, and let me read the resolution into the record, then I'll call on David to maybe say make a few other comments. Whereas Mark Fox has proudly served as the warning coordination meteorologist in the National Weather Service office in Fort Worth since 2009, and whereas Mark has spent countless hours sharing his enthusiasm for and knowledge of North Texas weather to members of our community through various presentations and public outreach events, and whereas he played a pivotal role in bringing the Advanced Collaborative Adaptive Sensing of the Atmosphere, or CASA, radar to the north central Texas region, allowing for improved hazardous weather forecasts, warnings, and response times in our densely populated urban environment. And whereas Mark has shown a willingness to work with partners in the region to learn how their duties are performed and finding ways to incorporate the National Weather Service knowledge and expertise so those partners can make informed decisions that protect life and property. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby honor and recognize Mark Fox for his valuable contributions to Tarrant County and to the North Central Texas region. And further, we wish him the best in his new position as meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service office in Amarillo. So he's retiring from here, but he's going to Amarillo. Which, based upon most of the weather charts I see, is going to be a little more active than the one down here. In witness whereunto we have set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 22nd day of May, 2018. I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
It's kind of hard to follow a guy in a bear suit. But time to come clean. I'm actually a real bear in a people suit.
Come on, y'all, come in here too. You need to be here.
I'm going to be here.
Come over here. Scoot over here. I'm in control. I remember us talking about the CASA and that whole spread and how much more that's helped us.
It seems like most of the weather events of the last 9 years, I'm not going to say it by name, but there's been snowstorms during big sporting events and everything else. So, David, it's been an honor and pleasure working with you and the entire team at Tarrant County.
Well, Mark's been here for almost 10 years, and we really appreciate this. I consider him a friend, which is kind of unusual, but it's all right.
I'm scared of what you're going to say next.
Yeah, but we've really enjoyed having him here. He's been very easy to get in touch with. He calls us in the middle of the night. We call him in the middle of the night. And we're going to miss him going out there, because all you're going to have is tumbleweeds and wind out there. So there are some challenges. But
lightning and fires that start thunderstorms.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But I also want to take just this moment to introduce the meteorologist in charge of the Fort Worth office, Tom Bradshaw. His team is one of the best in the nation. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And Mark's part of his team. And we're losing him, but that's okay. But the rest of
It's not the first time he said it either.
the rest of the team that's here is absolutely fabulous. We really, it's kind of like the old commercial, when the Weather Service from Fort Worth says something, we listen. Whenever we get a call from them or an email or something, we know that his team has got to be the best in the nation. We're really proud to have him. We hate that you're leaving, but we'll try to find somebody to kind of come along here.
Good shoes to fill.
But again, thank you both for coming by and for keeping our cameras safe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Kind words.
Technology continues. We have come a long way. The CASA system was a big advancement. And we just can't say enough good things about that and the lives that they do save as a result of giving us the early warning in some of these events that come up pretty quick. Commissioner Nguyen, I believe you have a resolution.
Yes, sir. We have a resolution to express our appreciation to Ms. Nidra Cutler. We all know that Meals on Wheels of Tarrant County have been delivering millions of meals to help keep seniors and disabled citizens to be able to stay independently at their homes. And those meals are largely delivered by volunteers, as you know. And Nidra has been the person coordinating and training all those thousands of volunteers. And she is retiring, which is sad news for Meals on Wheels and also for Tarrant County, but we don't be too sad because I was told that she'll come back as a volunteer, right? So, Your Honor, would you please read that into the record, please?
Whereas Nidra Cutler has trained a community of dedicated volunteers who deliver nutritious meals to the homebound, elderly, and disabled residents of Tarrant County, and whereas now over 5,800 caring individuals deliver approximately 1 million meals per year and provide daily safety checks that allow Meals on Wheels clients to remain living independently in their homes, and whereas this volunteer army has numbered in the tens of thousands over Nidra's 39-year career, and whereas Nidra is locally and nationally recognized for her leadership and training, whereas her efforts have created one of the largest volunteer movements in America, establishing Tarrant County as a caring place to grow old, and whereas Meals on Wheels of Tarrant County would not have the level of success it currently enjoys without the dedication and hard work of Nidra Cutler. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby congratulate Nidra Cutler on her retirement and on 39 years of dedicated service to Meals on Wheels and the frailest members of our community. In witness whereof, we have herein to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 22nd day of May, 2018.
And I move for its approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And Your Honor, with Nidra, we also have a number of her supporters. First is Carla Judson, the Executive Director of Meals on Wheels. Second, Julie Vu, the Chairman of the board, also my boss at home. And she is my boss. Todd Webster, the Vice Chair. Keith, the Director of Communication. And the lady who will attempt to assume Nidra's responsibilities, whose name I cannot remember right now. So maybe you can introduce yourself.
Sarah.
Sarah. Well, welcome. And would you please join us at the podium, please? You have to squeeze through the horseshoe.
We can just push that thing forward.
I don't have a driver license for it. Okay.
Okay, those who are vertically challenged, yeah, wait a minute, GK, push your, now you're in the picture.
To drive it, I almost crashed.
Okay, you gotta let him out, he can't get in the picture. The glare's too much. I've only seen 2 flashes. There's got to be at least another one coming.
Okay, Nidra, you want to share any comments? Feel free to do so.
Thank you, Judge Whitley and Commissioners. It's been a pleasure, gosh, I didn't want to get to be in Tarrant County and to have volunteers that deliver to the homebound 3,500 meals a day in Tarrant County. And we thank the county employees also because they come every week from the offices down here and the juvenile offices and help us. And Tarrant County is a great place to live, and manage volunteers because of the community support, and I thank you for this honor.
Nidra, it is a great place to live, but it's a great place because of people like you
Oh, thank you.
who are willing to do whatever it takes to help people, in this particular instance, to help the elderly stay in their homes. And so we cannot tell you how much we appreciate the job that you've done this past 39 years.
And I had dark hair like Smokey the Bear when I started. But maybe when I'm 75, it will turn dark again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have some certificates of recognition.
Your Honor and fellow commissioners, this morning we have the pleasure and the honor of welcoming our valedictorian, salutatorian, and top scholar athletes and their supporters from the Arlington Independent School District. Because there's quite a large number of y'all, so we got to do this in an orderly fashion, okay? Leading the pack certainly is the fearless Superintendent Cavazos, Dr. Cavazos. There he is. We also have Leslie Johnson, the Director of Communications, with us as well. So I'm going to call out your name and your achievement and so forth, and then please come forward, and then Kelly will hand out the certificate, and please line yourself up in the horseshoe. And once everybody get an opportunity to come up, I would like to invite the judge and all commissioners to kind of stand up behind the background so we can snap a few pictures, if that's possible. Thank you. From Arlington Collegiate High School, this is a high school that is established on the ground of Southeast Campus of TCC. We have Mr. Esteban Hurtado, who is a valedictorian. Please come on up. He plans to attend Texas Christian University, majoring in neuroscience. The salutatorian from the same school is Ms. Idara Rosa Ecom. She plans to go to UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, that is, majoring in biology with a minor in African American studies. And with them is Arlington Collegiate Principal Dr. Ben Boland, who is also here with us. The top scholar athlete from the same school is Carlos Mendez, majoring in business. He plans to play soccer on a full ride scholarship at Midwestern State University. Am I correct? What position do you play?
Defensive mid.
Defense? Oh, okay, like a sweeper.
Yeah.
I used to play sweeper. It takes a special guy to do that. From Arlington High School is Hannah Lay, a valedictorian, majoring in engineering, planning to attend Bryce University. And her mom is here with us, Ichen, and dad is Michael. There you are. Also from Arlington High School is Joanne Chen, salutatorian, planning to attend UT Austin, majoring in marketing. And mom Summer, dad Bing, and brother Jimmy are here as well. And the Dean of Instruction from Arlington High School, Mr. Jason Davis, is also here. The top scholar athlete from Arlington High School is Kaylee Orr. She plans to major in mechanical engineer at TCU. From Bowie High School, we have Jonathan Correa, valedictorian. He plans to attend University of Texas at Arlington, majoring in biomedical engineering. Wow. Also from Bowie High School is Emily Anderson, salutatorian. She plans to attend Brigham Young University, majoring in mathematics. The top scholar athlete is Kaylee Rogers, majoring in biology and plan to attend William Baptist University in Arkansas. And the Bowie principal is William Manley, is also here with us. Lamar High School valedictorian and salutatorian Andrew Kahn and Karen Yang cannot join us because they do have another program, so they are not here. But we do have Lamar High School top scholar athlete, Caleb Hicks, and his mom is also here, Lori, and his coach, golf coach, that is, Gary Webb is also here with us. Caleb will be playing golf for the University of Texas at Arlington, majoring in business management. From Martin High School, from Martin High School, we have Peyton Riney, valedictorian, majoring in Texas A&M, going to Texas A&M, majoring in biomedical science, and her mom, Jenny, is also here. Also from Martin High School, salutatorian is Luke Overman, plans to attend University of Texas at Arlington, majoring in physics and mathematics. Mom, Dorian, and Dad, Jan, are here with us as well. Top scholar athlete from Martin High School is Kate Johnson. Kate plans to attend Texas A&M, majoring in biomedical science. We have a lot of STEM this morning. That's good. And the principal of Martin, Ms. Marlene Roddy, is also here. From Sam Houston, valedictorian is Heidi Estrada. She plans to attend George Washington University, majoring in international affairs. And also from Sam Houston, salutatorian Linda Vu. She plans to go to TCU, majoring in biology, and the Dean of Instruction at Sam Houston is also here with us, Katrina Simonis. The top scholar athlete from Sam Houston is Jacob Dollar. Jacob plans to major in business accounting.
There you go.
Business accounting, attending Texas Wesleyan University.
Yes. Go Rams.
From Seguin High School, the valedictorian is Brittany Lung and her dad, Hong, are here as well. Where's Mr. Hong at? There you go. Brittany plans to attend UT Austin, majoring in art. Also from Seguin High School is salutatorian Brianna Syed. She plans to go to TCU, majoring in neuroscience. And her mom, I'm sorry if I say this incorrectly, Canis is here. Okay. Top scholar athlete from Seguin High School is Henson David, also known as DJ. He plans to major in computer science, attending Oklahoma Baptist University. Mom, Kathy, Dad, David, and sister Molly are here as well. And DJ just turned 18 today, right, DJ? And he just made Eagle Scout just before midnight today. Congratulations. Our future leaders of Tarrant County from Arlington ISD.
Now, some of you folks who are vertically challenged, move to the front. If you can't see the camera, they sure can't see you. So, now,
We want Dr. Cavazos in the picture.
Let's do this one first.
and let me just say this to y'all. Just go ahead and plan on staying there for about 5 minutes, because you see all those people behind you? Every one of them are going to want to flash.
Let the soup through.
Well, with that, come on, you're. You just, yeah. She'll never be seen. This is your communication person. She's going to figure out how to make it work. Okay, it's just a matter of who can flash more times. Y'all just keep coming forward until you get the picture you want. Don't be shy. Until everybody's set down, we're not going to let them move. Nope, they're still coming.
Yes, miss.
Wait a minute, hold on. There come the kids, so it's fixing to get a lot more crowded. Now here come the adults. I don't know how this is going to work. Yeah, I'll tell you what, y'all come on up here. Parents, come up here. Come on. This is going to all work out. Sure it is.
Come on, join us. Congratulations. Good. You have to put up 4 more years of college.
Yes, sir.
Come on in here, y'all. Come on.
I'll squat.
Let's go.
All right.
You see?
There won't be near as many pictures because the parents aren't out there. We'll still be blinded. I think they're kind of competing who can take the most flashes. All right, break. Congratulations.
It's a pleasure to see you this morning.
Dr. Cavazos, thank you for coming down. We appreciate you. We'll follow up on that information.
May I?
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Dr. Cavazos, before you leave, are you going to, do we need to put the microphone back, Commissioner Brooks, or is that going to be?
No, that's fine.
Go ahead. Thank you, GK.
Whatever.
I was talking with, had an opportunity to talk with Dr. Cavazos before the ceremony started, and we were talking about I think it was probably the Arlington Collegiate High School. And as a result of programs that you've done, I'd like for you to kind of relate that to us.
Wonderful. So absolutely. So thank you, Judge and Commissioners, for recognizing these outstanding students. And one of the schools that we're recognizing today is our Collegiate High School. And this is the first graduating class. And we have 102 students graduating, and 87 of them are getting their associate's degree as a result of this program. 87. Just to give you a perspective, statewide average is about 40% from collegiate high schools get their associate's degree. We have 87 students getting their associates. This gives them a leg up. In 2019, we'll be opening our second early college high school in Arlington ISD. There's that much demand. Thank you.
Just so you understand what that associate's degree means, that's 60 hours. That's 60 collegiate hours of credit that they have going into their first semester. Now, all the parents out here who've had to pay for 2 years of college, they just had 2 years of college that they were able to earn in public school without having to pay the dollars for those kids to go into college. And the courses they're taking are the same courses they would have taken had they gone to college. That's right. So they just saved, we were talking earlier, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of, if it wasn't A&M or one of the major universities, it's still probably around $25,000 to $30,000. And if it was, you add in room and board and everything else, it's probably close to $60,000 that have just been saved as a result of this. So congratulations. I know you have done tremendous things over in Arlington, and we're very, very proud of the job that you've done and of the school board and all the efforts that they make over there.
Thank you, Judge, and we appreciate your support and the Commissioner's support in our efforts of excellence in public schools, and that's what you see in Arlington ISD. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Cavasso, I hope that you have met Dr. Michael McFarland, Superintendent of the Crowley ISD. If you have not met before, I hope you guys will get together.
We do. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have some recognition you'd like to do at this time.
I do. I've got 10 young people from the Crowley Independent School District who are shadowing their commissioner this morning. I promised Dr. McFarland when he took over the reins of the Crowley ISD almost a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, that we would do this event and that we would do it annually. So this is the first annual job shadowing event for the Crowley ISD. I'd like to ask the Superintendent, Dr. Michael McFarland, to please stand. And with him, we've got Mr. Markeith West, an instructor, Ms. Christelle Polk, Project Director for 21st Century After School Program, and the Crowley ISD media person. I don't have a name for that person. Good. Thank you all for bringing these kids down. Before I introduce the kids, let me thank the county departments who have so graciously agreed to tour these kids through their operations. That is HR, the tax office, and the county clerk's office. Thank you all for the investment that you're making today in these kids. I know we spent a lot of time this morning recognizing kids, but no amount of time we spend recognizing and pouring into the lives of our children is misspent. So if we have to take a few extra minutes this morning, we need to do that because you never know the impact we're going to have just by recognizing our children. So I've got a certificate for each one of the young people who has come down this morning. First of all, Christina Gonzalez.
Come on down.
Amaya Ronsick. Skylar Jackson. Raven Grimes. Tion Wilson. Robert Gortney. Alexis Martin. Everett Chance. Anaya Williams. And Nathaniel Wright. Thank you all very much for your interest in Tarrant County government. You should know that a career in government is a noble undertaking, and that you can do well for yourselves and good for your community by deciding to work in county government. Let's give them all a hand. And if you guys come take another picture with these kids.
Come on over here, Commissioner. You're not jumping to 4 on me, are you?
Not on that one, no.
We got everybody? Y'all want to come up here too? Y'all all come up here too. All right. Thank y'all. Congratulations.
Dr. McFarland, still. I'd like to give you the opportunity to talk about your school district this morning.
All right. Again, to the...
I'll tell you what, let me go back so we can get you on camera, okay?
Again, to the judge and also to our county commissioner and other commissioners, we definitely appreciate the invitation. Again, I'm Mike McFarland, the new superintendent in Crowley ISD, and just excited about the work that we're doing in Crowley ISD. We are in the process of really rebranding and redesigning our school district to make sure that our kids are performing at an extremely high level. Outstanding students. You saw members of our mock trial team today. They are nationally award-winning mock trial students, and we have a lot more to go. So we definitely appreciate the invitation this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. And finally, Your Honor, I'd like to make an introduction. I have onboarded a new executive administrator for administration and constituent services. That is Ms. Jeanette Martinez. Stand up, Jeanette. Jeanette, in her new capacity, will be an outstanding addition to our team. And I'm proud of Jeanette. She completed her master's in public administration last year.
Not that you remember.
So congratulations to Jeanette.
Welcome, Jeanette. Welcome.
Thank you for your sufferance this morning, Judge.
Mr. Manning, you may want to center your, you didn't drive it back quite as good as you normally do.
Thanks for all your comments this morning.
I appreciate that. Just want to keep things, keep things going around here.
Yes, sir.
Now, we need a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
So moved. To receive and file the certificates of recognition.
Yeah. So we got a motion, we got a second, and that was to receive and file all the recognition stuff that we have. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Court members, you have before you the consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 4 additional items for you this morning. The first, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve a memoranda of understanding between Cornerstone Assistance Network, Tarrant County's First Stop Reentry Center, and Tarrant County for Trinity Metro bus passes.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Ms. McMillan is going to do the next 2, and then I'll do the final one.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners.
Good morning, Lisa.
For my first item, today we're asking for consideration of an enterprise project nomination for Northern Tool and Equipment Company in Arlington. Northern Tool is in the process of a $10 million expansion and remodel project at their distribution center located off Watson Road. And they anticipate creating 40 to 45 new jobs in addition to retaining the current 61 employees that they have on site. They recently added 175,000 square feet addition to their existing 262,000 square foot facility in order to implement their strategic growth plan over the next 5 years. The county's nomination will allow Northern Tool to compete for one of the state's enterprise project designations and allow them to receive sales and use tax refunds on the state portion of the taxes paid for items purchased and used at the Arlington facility. This is a refund of the state portion of sales tax and use only, and there is no negative impact on tax collections here locally. Northern Tool additionally, if they receive the enterprise project designation, will commit that 35% of the new employees hired will be economically disadvantaged or from within an enterprise zone location. As you may recall, Tarrant County has 9 enterprise project designations each biennium. The biennium started last September and will end on August 31st, 2019. And to date, we have only used 1 of our project designations. Because of the smaller size of the project, the enterprise project would only be a half designation for this project. So, the enterprise project also requires now that the county is making the nomination within a project within a municipality, then an interlocal agreement between the municipality and county must be agreed upon for designation of the administration of the project, which would fall on the county, and the approval of the city. And so we have before you also this interlocal agreement with the city of Arlington for this matter. So today we're asking approval of a resolution that would nominate Northern Tool and Equipment Company as a Texas Enterprise Project, authorize submittal of the Enterprise Project application, and approval of the interlocal agreement with the City of Arlington for the nomination.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. My next item is we are requesting your approval of the use of tax-exempt education revenue bonds issued by the Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation in the maximum principal amount of $70 million to be used by Uplift Education to finance improvements for certain educational facilities located in Tarrant County. These Uplift Education finance dollars will be used for charter school facilities in Arlington, Dallas, DeSoto, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, and Irving. And the ones in Fort Worth area are at Summit International off Center Street in Arlington. We have the Mighty Preparatory facility off of Mighty Mite Drive in 287, and the Meridian Preparatory Academy off of South Beach Street. This is strictly an approval for tax-exempt IRS purposes only. The bonds are issued by the Arlington Higher Education Finance Corporation.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Do we have any historical record of going back to the cities and asking them to make sure they don't have a problem with? I'm assuming that these are charter schools that are created within each one of these cities.
Yes, and we actually did something similar just about this time last year. Was about $100 million financed by the Arlington Education Finance Corporation for Uplift also. So we've been doing these for Uplift for several years.
Okay. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, members of the court, we could go to item number 5. We're requesting that the Commissioners Court approve additional funding for outside counsel litigation expenses in an amount of $50,000 to Kelly Hart Hallman as it relates to the case listed in your court communication.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Move to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Good morning and thank you.
Good morning.
We have 2 additional items. The second item, we're asking the court to approve an out-of-class pay extension for criminal courts administration. The extension, if approved, will take us through the 1st of September. This request is associated with additional or with continuing magistrate support. We're estimating a cost to the general fund of a little bit more than $600, and that does include fringe benefits.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our third and final item, we're asking the court to approve a double fill as well as a waiver of terminal benefits for Commissioner Precinct 2. Commissioner Wynn is requesting, as I indicated, the double fill is for 2 weeks, as well as a waiver effective June 8th. We're estimating the cost of the Road and Bridge Fund to be approximately $11,800 and some change, and that does include fringe benefits.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Mr. Beecham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 2 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2018-094. This is signing a contract for the purchase of liquid hydrostatic distributors and cabin chassis trucks. Recommendation be toward a per enterprise basis, selecting as our 2 primary vendors, Premier Truck Group of Fort Worth and Rush Truck Center of Texas, who both meet our specifications.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item, number 2, is a bid award recommendation for bid 2018-097. It's a bid for the sale of IBM Z Enterprise 114 server and peripherals. Recommendation be toward the high bidder, Secure Recycling, in the amount of $3,300.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Commissioner Brooks.
Yes, Your Honor, I have this morning an interlocal agreement with the city of Benbrook for the maintenance and repair of certain streets. It's item 9J, 1A and B. I move approval of those items.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Have an interlocal with the City of Hazel that's been approved by the DA's office.
It has to be.
I move approval of item 9J2, A and B.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments today? There being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we have 3 items we'd like to bring to you this morning. The first one concerns of a proposed U.S. passport office at the Northwest Courthouse. Ms. Garcia is here to address the court at this time.
Thank you for your time, court members. I would like to briefly discuss the county clerk passport accepting facility operations. July of 2016, my office was approved by the U.S. Department of State to become an accepting facility. We opened South Lake and Southwest Sub courthouses, and within 1 year's time, we had processed more than 10,000 applications. Fast forward to 2018, the Dallas Passport Agency newsletter recognized our management team and both facilities for achieving no deficiencies during an unscheduled report and audit to ensure our compliance. In addition to our success of following the rules, 2 of our team members were recognized as well for detecting and reporting fraudulent applications to lead team at the Dallas Passport Office. We have been able to provide this important service to our Tarrant County taxpayers with accuracy while building our business reputation with our partners in the federal government. With that, I'm going to ask my Chief Deputy, Clint Ludwig, to come forward and discuss some options for your consideration regarding future accepting facilities.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm going to be discussing a lot of numbers, so I'm going to pass out the numbers that I have so you can look at them while I discuss.
I'll pass them down.
I need one more. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe not. Maybe not.
All right, so we'll start with the numbers. As you may be aware, as of April 1st, the Department of State had mandated a $10 increase to the actual passport application fee. The fee was $25, so this was a 40% increase in the monies that we were charging for this application. When we came to you FY18 for the budget, we had discussed with the auditor's office and our projected revenue. At that time, they had projected about $400,000 of revenue. Doing the math, we were looking at about 20,000 passport items. So that would be photos and passports. Currently, we do 3 main things in the passport office that we charge for. An application that includes a photo, an application, and a photo only. That application that includes the photo is 50% of our business. An application only is 40%. So 90% of our business received this extra revenue. At that time, in 2018, when we came to you with the budget, we were looking at being about $58,815 over what the revenue was going to be generated. Calculating out the costs and the increase in the new fee projected at our current rates, we now look at finishing the year with a revenue generated of $486,000 and covering the expenses that this county is paying to provide this service.
With an excess of revenue over expenses.
Correct. Right. So, next page, we projected out our FY19 expenses. I included on this Arlington, as that was a request we had already made to the budget office, just to ensure that you have a full picture of everything that we were looking at. You've got the budgets for the South Lake, Southwest, Arlington, and then what the anticipated budget would be for Northwest if we were to open that office. You have all your totals. Down below that, you've got the projected items that we would process in passports and photos for the South Lake and Southwest offices, because those have been in operation and they're easier to predict. Next, and we did the number of passports and photos each one of the new offices would have to generate to make us neutral across the board, and we'd be providing this at no cost to the county. As you can see, it's roughly 4,900 items, 3,000 passports, and 2,000 photos per office. And then down there, there's the breakdown of the revenue that would be generated and how that would go ahead and break out. Moving on.
How did those offices do? Were there offices in those prior?
Yes, if you, the next page that I'm going to get to, I pulled out the numbers for the last year that the Arlington and the Northwest office were in a full year of business, which was FY14, and those are the numbers that they did in FY14. We projected those costs at our current fees, what the office that those the money that those offices would generate, in conjunction with what our projected FY19 numbers are, to get the total of a net profit of about $181,000. So looking at it, the numbers seem to make sense. They add up. The other question is, can our office support it? We're just getting off probation. We have been very, very successful, but this would represent a 100% increase in our operation. Working with our managers, we have a plan to move experience, so we will have experienced clerks in every one of these 4 offices to ensure that we are capable of managing this and maintaining our record of excellence. At this time, this is as far as we feel comfortable going with the current personnel and the situation as we stand.
So you have 2 offices currently?
Correct.
And you're asking for an addition of 2 more offices?
Correct.
And the numbers bear out an excess of revenue over expenses for the opening of those 2 offices.
That is correct.
And you feel that you can handle those internally with experienced personnel?
Yes, as long as we hit those bare minimums, we're going to come out neutral. But looking at the history and what those offices were able to provide, Arlington having been one of the bigger producers prior to, we're very confident that we will more than break even.
I'd like to congratulate the county clerk's office and the county clerk herself. Mary Louise, you've done an outstanding job on getting this up and running and providing this valuable service to our taxpayers. Are we asking for approval of this today, Mr. Manius?
This is just a briefing item.
It's a briefing item.
Can I ask, on the South Lake, what are you estimating that your revenue is going to be for South Lake this year?
South Lake would have been...
this year? When did you open the South Lake office this year? Was it
South Lake was part of the 2016.
Okay.
The revenue numbers for South Lake this year, we were looking at 290.
That's what you're projecting
in 19. I didn't break it out by office this year. What I did break out was our FY18 projected on that first page, and that is South Lake and Southwest combined, where we came out at the 486. South Lake is a little bit busier, so it would be a little over half than that 486.
That's as
Yeah,
it
that was on page
stands
1.
right now. We're gonna
And did
catch
17
up.
increase over 16? Or what?
Yes,
is
our-
this 18 going to have increased over 17?
Yes, our numbers have increased every single year since we started opening the offices.
When do you expect to go for Northeast?
It's going to be a policy question that I'm sure that will be up to the court and
Well, that's
obviously
what I'm
Mary
asking.
Louise Garcia.
When do
Right
you
now,
expect to go to Northeast?
You know, we're doubling. If we open these two offices now, Judge, we're gonna have to just let the staff work a year or so and make sure we stay on that record of excellence.
So you'd be looking at 2020 if you're gonna work a year.
Maybe. I cannot put that kind of pressure, the pay, the management's.
Well, if that's the case, then why would we go for 2 this year instead of just going for 1?
Because we've
We are going for
in
two.
the past. We've opened 2 in the past and we've been successful. And with the management and with the staffing we have currently, we can open 2 right now, move our staff around, and make sure we can successfully open those 2 and get that revenue generated. There's no sense in opening 1, slow walk, open another. In my mind, I think if we have the staff to move those team members around, let's open these 2. We're gonna break even. I think we're gonna make money. Just the nature of that 40% increase. And after that, we will come back, we will look at our staffing and see. We have to stay in that relationship with the federal government and not make any mistakes. 2 to 4, that's a jump, but we feel confident. Immediately saying next year I want Northeast, I'm not ready to say that.
Well, I'm very interested in getting one in Northeast, as I know
understand.
Commissioner Fickus is. I have no problem with the 2, but if we can do 2 next year, it would seem to me like we could certainly be able to do 1 the year after that. And so I'm gonna push real hard for Northeast that next year because.
Another one in Northeast.
Another one.
Yes, sir,
You have
that's
one in
exactly
South
right,
Florida.
another one in Northeast.
Right.
Because I feel like that I feel like that community out there in the area in Northeast is looking for one, and I know the same thing would be true in Mansfield. So it may very well be that the following year we would look at 2, 1 for Northeast and 1 for Mansfield.
And again, it's based on the management structure and the federal government and our relationship and our ability to run at that level, Judge. There's no sense in opening multiple offices if I start, making mistakes at the offices. We just really would like to take these 2. We feel confident asking for 2 now. And keep in mind, downtown is a very big generator for Mr. Wilder. So.
Well, I would just like a commitment from you and your office that you'll push very hard to try to do something in the following year for Northeast and or Mansfield.
We will look at the numbers and look at our staffing and see what we can come back with.
It's important that we open up, do things right, and at least break even. So let the number guide our decision. That's my recommendation.
Well, and I don't disagree, but the numbers are already showing that we've got a profit. We're opening up these based upon assumptions that we're going to make profit. There's no guarantee on these, just as there will be no guarantee when we initially open up an office in Northeast or in Mansfield, just like there won't be a guarantee on the ones that you're talking about now.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to do 4,000 in each of their offices, but we feel confident once we get out there and we start that marketing campaign on social media. I think his probably will carry that easy, and then he will just be profit on top.
Okay.
$10 increase changed the game for us.
So, Ms. Garcia, have we talked with passport officers? Have we had some initial?
Yes, with the Department of State, we have talked to them, and we did address opening both offices.
And they feel comfortable with that?
With our record, yes.
What physical changes are we going to have to make facilities? Anything? I know yours is ready.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Everything, when we closed the office, everything stayed as was.
Okay.
All
So
the
we just have to
furniture, everything
reactivate.
is there. Mr. Wilder left everything back to the
And the
facility.
same is true in Northeast. And what about in Mansfield? Do you have a space in Mansfield?
Mansfield, we do, but there may be some reshuffling going on right now to remodel and expand some office space for some elected officials there. So we don't know if the space would be ready by 2019 or 20 right now. Right now, we want to focus on where the demand is, where the demand and the pressure really is, and that is in Arlington right now. So.
And downtown. We had a great business downtown.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mayor Louise. Thank you, Clint.
Members of the court, we can go to item B. This is an update from the Tcdrs. And Ms. Glenn is going to begin the conversations, and then we have representatives from Tcdrs here today.
Morning again.
Good morning.
As Mr. Maney has said, we do have representatives from Tcdrs with us today. This is our annual plan update that we look forward to every year. We have Amy Campbell is here. Erica Nieto is our account rep, and she'll be making a presentation today. So I'm going to ask Erica to come forward, go through the presentation. Of course, she'll entertain any questions that you have. We are not asking for any decisions today. We'll come back to the court for additional discussion, give you some options, and then ask for your decision.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge
Good morning.
Whitley
Good
and
morning.
Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you
Good
for your time. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to be here to give you a briefing about the strength of not only Tcdrs, but of your Tarrant County plan. At any point, please interrupt me. I prefer this to be a discussion of sorts and to really entertain any questions you might have. To begin, it is my honor to differentiate why Tcdrs is very different from other pension systems, not only statewide but nationally. And if we had to single out 3 characteristics that distinctively separate us, the first is that we are savings-based. Your employees are responsibly saving for their own retirement over the course of their career. While they are saving, Tarrant County is matching their funds responsibly over the course of those careers by paying a required weight that we provide every year. And finally, as the decision-making body of Tarrant County, you have the flexibility and local control to adjust benefit levels to meet your budget needs. These characteristics are what distinctively separate us from other pension systems statewide and nationally. I included this slide to highlight the size of Tcdrs. We certainly are growing with over 760 employers. I say over because we have districts that join us each year. We are proud to have every county in the state except for Motley, and they are in my region. It's my personal goal to get them on board.
Except what?
Motley County is the only county that's not a part of our plan, but they will be with confidence, I feel. We have districts like appraisal, irrigation, navigation, COGS. Any governmental entity that cannot join the other systems as a municipality is usually accepted by Tcdrs under review. We are almost 90% funded as a system. With our reserves, we are over 90% funded. And our 35-year return shows a 9.1 return. I will address specifically our returns in our portfolio in just a moment. I want to show some highlights specific to Tarrant County and the dollar amount paid. This is to people living with a Tarrant County zip code. This is the money that was paid in simply 2017. Why this is important is because when we do economic impact studies, we realize that 96% of your retirees are staying in this area. With that said, 90% of their spending power stays in your area. So when we show you these dollar figures, we're proud to say that that money is cycled back into local economies. When I take a snapshot of Tarrant County, I look at the average age of your employees and their years of service with their average account balance. Of course, relative to salaries and relative to extensions, this is an average. And if we take a snapshot of retirees, about 61 years, which is very young, with 19 years of service at retirement, and you're looking at just under 30 with the Tcdrs average benefit. Of course, that varies based on each individual. Your plan is actually a mirror to our system-wide averages. System-wide average is a 7% employee deposit rate, highest by state statute that you offer here. The employer match, 200. Vesting 8 with 3 eligibility rules. And of course, members are not required to hit the trifecta. They just need 1. And upon 1 rule, they are eligible to retire at the year of their choice. And as the decision-making body, you can adjust these benefit levels on an annual basis. My job is to provide you with the data and the resources to make these decisions accordingly. This slide is interesting as a replacement ratio statistic. If someone works for Tarrant County for about 20 years, you should know that in retirement you are replacing 50% of their income. For someone who works longer At 3 decades, you're replacing 83% of their income. This is just an interesting slide that I see my decision makers tend to ask us as far as replacement ratio statistics. The great news that I get to report today is that because of strategies this court has taken to implement an elected rate, which is to pay more than what's required since 2015, you have implemented an elected rate, which still stands today at 19.50. That strategy has been one of the factors that has decreased the required rate. I'll explain how that's determined in a moment. But by paying your rate, you're responsibly funding all of your current employees' future benefits, and you're paying down your unfunded liabilities in a closed 20-year amortization period. Now, when there is a benefit increase, that increase is funded in a closed 15-year amortization cycle. 20 years is for the standard plan. Your funded ratio, 87.7 as of the last day of December last year. And when we look at outside rating agencies like Fitch and S&P, they rate the strength of systems as 80% funded and higher, and you're well above that, inching to the 90% funded ratio. Specifically from last year to this year, I'd like to point out the reasons why your rate decreased. You'll notice that for 3 areas, investment return, elected rate lump sum, and demographic other changes, there's a negative sign. It actually implies a rate reducing effect, so those are considered positive plan experiences. So to your gain, because we had a great year last year, closed it at 14.7 was our return. You had a gain. Your elected rate, as I mentioned, has benefited you over time, and you've held one since 2015. Demographic and other changes simply refers to a multitude of experiences. For example, when people terminate, they have the option to withdraw their own funds and interest, and if they do so upon our counsel, we let them know that they're forfeiting the matching dollars from Tarrant County. If they so choose to proceed, those matching dollars stay with the Tarrant County budget, impacting your rate positively. Not so positive for the member, but positive for the county as a whole. Again, they are counseled, and we let them know that they are forfeiting that match. It is still the member's choice. Don't you? Well, not quite, but close. Very close. It is just our experience, Judge, that it is the most common behavior for people who terminate to take their money, despite leaving it, and despite our explanation that I don't know of a bank in the country that's going to pay them 7% annual interest, and they still have that option and right to take, and the benefit is the county keeps those matching dollars. We make it clear that their matching fund that you're saving for them is only theirs when they become eligible and take a lifetime check. That's the only way they get the match. So that brought your rate down to 13.92. Of course, this doesn't go into effect till January 1. It's still 14.51 for this year. 13.92 will be January 1 of next year. So for this decision-making body, you have until December 15th to make any changes that will then appropriately be implemented January 1. I included a slide about cost of living adjustments because I do get that question from courts from time to time. And just as a highlight, and to your recollection, we offer 2 types, flat rate and CPI. Both of them, I can provide actual dollar costs if you'd like to pre-fund the COLA. Pre-funding it would have 0 impact on your rate because it would be advance funded. That's not required, but it's certainly an option and a strategy. As I mentioned...
I'm going to stop you there for just a second.
Yes, sir.
Because I want to remind the court that what we have done in the past is we, instead of pre-funding the entire amount, we take it and spread it over the full year, which allows CSCD, which we also have to pay in on their behalf, to be able to spread it over the full year as opposed to a lump sum, which could have a negative impact on their ability to pay for that through the bonus or through their budget. And if we do that, if we do a lump sum and then they can't pay for it, then the county has just turned around and paid for state employees through CSCD. And so that's been the reason that for a while we did lump sum you the amount. And during those years, our CSCD folks were able to take monies that they had left over in their budget and were able to give us that lump sum, their lump sum share of that portion. The last couple of years, Debbie, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the last couple of years we've actually just built that into what kind of a percentage, what would it increase our percentage in order to be able to build that.
Overtime, which is why you paid the 19.5, yes, sir.
Exactly. That, and then also an additional pay down of the unfunded liability. So both of those have been in there. Remember also that in the past, we've had these discussions in November and December after we've approved the budget. This past year, we made the decision to go ahead and take what that lump sum was going to cost us out of, I believe, undesignated.
I'm going to let you finish your sentence.
Well, we, instead of increasing, when it came to it, we thought we were we ended up doing that. We had wanted an extra amount to pay down unfunded liability, and I think that was between $5 and $6 million.
We actually increased the rate.
We did. At the same time, when it came November, and we looked at what that extra rate generated, and then what we made the decision to do with our increase, that number did not leave us $5 to $6 million as a lump to reduce our unfunded liability. And so you ended up having to take money out. And just about a month or so ago, you distributed that among the various departments.
Correct.
So what I hope that we do this year is that we get the amount, that we determine what our cost of living, if we're going to give one, what the cost of living increase costs us, and then we are able to add to that whatever additional amount we want to use to pay down our unfunded liability, and see whether or not we can do all that within the 19.5. And if we can't, then we make a decision as to whether we want to stick with the 19.5, increase it a little bit, or pay less in our unfunded liability, pay down on our unfunded liability. But I really hope that as a court, we make that decision on the cost of living in our budget process before we pass our budget, and not 2 months after we passed our budget.
That makes sense.
Thank you, Judge. And you all have, on our terms, until December. On your terms, whenever you're ready, we'll get you the numbers that you need.
You need to get the numbers to her as we move into the budget, because she's going to have that to try to figure out exactly what that impact has on what the 19.5 is going to produce, and then what that will allow us to build into our budget.
You got it. Absolutely. This is a snapshot about making those changes. If this court were interested in different benefit level adjustments, not COLAs, but just the employer matching rate or the employee deposit rate, as a courtesy, we provide this chart just to show you how that would look. In 2019, for example, if you wanted to increase, either you can see how that would affect your rate, or if you wanted to decrease, you can see how that would affect your rate. The reason this leverage is important is because decision-making bodies have this ability on an annual basis to make these choices, so that if they needed to experience an immediate cost savings the very next year based on their individual budgets, they can do so. Again, this speaks to that original characteristic I mentioned about the flexibility and the local control. We are long-term investors, and before I address the portfolio, I often get the question, how are we funded? Well, it's very important that we clarify. Tcdrs does not receive any state funding, so we get to stay out of those discussions when it comes to the state. We are funded on our own, and as just an image, 77 cents of every benefit dollar that we pay out comes from our investment earnings, which is why we diligently manage our portfolio. 13 cents comes from our employers, you being one of them, and 10 cents from employees' own pockets. So we are independently funded, therefore we make our own decisions about how we do things. With that said, we're very diligent about a diverse portfolio across and within asset classes. Several years ago, we designed a very intricate piece to our website that will give you year-to-date returns, detailed information on who manages our portfolio, how we distribute our assets, and anything that you might want to know. Now, if you were to visit that site and you have additional questions, it is my job to get you those answers. Simply send me an email. I've provided my business card in all of these packets, and I will go to the experts and make sure that your questions are answered regarding our portfolio.
So how many different managers do you have at this point in time? Do you know?
Total managers, I don't know off the top of my head, but that I can easily get that for you, Judge, and send that to you. Total managers, I'm not certain, but I can get that for you, and I will. If you look at history, we have exceeded our benchmarks. Industry standard benchmarks are something we keep a close eye on. Our goal is 8%. And we are long-term investors. We do not chase annual returns. We know that in any given year, we might have a shortfall, we might break even, or we're going to have a positive. We understand that. But with that said, you can see here by this example that we've exceeded our benchmarks, and our 35-year return, as I mentioned when I started, is at 9.1. Even more interesting is our actual performance. And what this shows, the brown line in the middle, is the long-term goal of 8% that we attribute to gain each year. And while we know that isn't an annual result, we've designed a risk tolerance. That's the gray band you see above and below. And we have remained within that risk tolerance except for the Great Recession and the subsequent recovery, of which we've completely recovered from. So when you look at that performance, it has performed as expected within the acceptable level of risk that has been designed for this portfolio of ours. That's very unique and unlike other portfolios. And that's why we provide this information on our website. And to your question, Judge, I will get you that total number of managers. And if there are other questions, I can go to the experts to make sure that's clarified. It's very important that anybody who's interested understands our plan. In decisions that you have the opportunity to make, we will provide you with the data every April. In your packet, you will find a document titled Plan Assessment. That just simply lists your benefit levels as they stand today and your rate for the coming January. You all have until December 15th to decide and make any changes, and it is my job to provide you with data in between and to provide briefings such as the one today. We do personally extend an invitation to our annual conference, and we're very proud to have Judge Whitley as one of our panelists this year. And we do thank you for attendance. We always have representation from Tarrant County. We're very grateful. And as always, to Trustee Garcia, she's part of our Board of Trustees, and we're very grateful for her participation, involvement, and active engagement as a trustee member with Tcdrs. I am part of a team. I'm proud to have our manager, Amy Campbell, with me today. And as a team, we are here to answer your questions. We're here to provide data. We can be reached at your convenience, but we also provide online training and online videos. And I was telling Judge Whitley this morning that one of the videos we've added recently was filmed very specifically under 3 minutes that explains why we're different. I represent this area proudly, but I also have my phone ringing off the hook when they hear of other pension systems in the news, and they oftentimes want a comparison conversation. And while I take their calls with eager excitement, I very quickly clarify why we're different and why that is not the case for us. So at my request, our office filmed a video that I can pass on to decision makers that you can share with your constituents. It's on our website. That and many more forms of training and availability is on our website. So at this point, I'd like to open the floor for additional questions. I did take notes on information I will be getting to you, and we will speak further about some numbers that you need to make decisions. But if there are any questions I can answer now, I'd be happy to.
I would again stress, as you are out and if people are talking about this, that as she just said, we are different from the state employees. Mm-hmm. We're different from the Texas Association of Schools, and we're different from the cities. We are not a defined benefit. The people will say, well, you know, it's unrealistic to use 8% as a return. And I think it's very critical that you remember that our 30-year average return is 8.4, and that our 35-year annual return is average of 9.1. So they can say all day long that that's not realistic, and we've proven that it is. And I truly believe that the big difference is the fact that we don't game the system. And that is something that has been done in some of the other funds. And we do not allow counties to segregate their money because they feel like they can invest better than what our folks do. And the individuals that are taking their money out, I'll bet you, a bunch, that they've got some friend or some relative that has convinced them that they can earn a whole lot more money than what they'll earn if they keep it in the fund. And as you said, you show me anybody that'll guarantee a 7% return and then be able to get it.
Correct.
So I believe that over the next couple of years, with the state's huge unfunded liability and with some of the cities' huge unfunded liability, that there's going to be a lot of efforts made to take apart or to lower the benefits on these retirement plans. And from a county's perspective, from an employee out there, from elected officials, everybody needs to say we are different. We're over 87% funded. We have a 35-year average return of 9.1%. Leave us alone. Go find somebody else to mess with, because we've been doing what we said we were going to do, and we have stayed the course on our investments. And this is going to be, I really believe this is going to be a major issue in the next session of the legislature, because they're upside down with the state employees. And we've heard of some of the issues with some of the surrounding cities. So, take your notes, look through this presentation, whatever you need to do, but be prepared when you hear somebody say and talk about retirement plans. Don't be silent. Talk about the fact that we're different. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I don't know if
Judge.
there's other questions or not, but
That was well said, and we also have our State of the System webinar recorded for your availability that states the strength of our system by our executive director, by our new chief investment officer, and they clearly identify why we're different. And to your point, we don't offer tiers. We don't have a multiplier. We are a cash balance plan. Even in how we figure what the benefit is, we're different. People can't borrow against their money while they're working. It is preserved for retirement. I can give you a page of how we're different. And in knowing that, it gives you the message and the conversation and the confidence to be able to address when people bring it up. And so you can tell I love my job, and I'll keep doing it as long as I have to. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Your Honor, we have one final item to bring to the court this morning. That's item C, which is proposed fire code for the county and fee schedule. Mr. Renoir.
Thank you, GK. Commissioners, it's been a long day, but we'll be quick.
You can help to feel short in yours.
Yes, sir. I'm on it. I've had the opportunity to speak to all of you individually about this matter, and I wanted to let you know, first of all, there's two changes that you'll see today that weren't on the original conversations with us. When we talked to you about adopting the fire code, we talked about the 2009 International Fire Code. Since then, the city of Fort Worth and some of the other cities surrounding us have gone to the 2015 edition and updated their fire code. So we're going to ask you for the 2015 International Fire Code also to stay with competitive with them or level with them. Another thing that we talked about before, we were doing a lot of foster home and adoption fire inspections for those people to get their license in the city of Fort Worth, because Fort Worth wasn't offering that option. Well, about 6 weeks ago, that's available to the citizens of Fort Worth through the Fort Worth Fire Department, so we will no longer be doing those. So I'll mention that as we go right along. Our mission statement is to ensure that the new and existing structures that are within the unincorporated area and being places of public access and assembly meet the minimum standards and requirements to reduce the risk of loss in property and life and provide our citizens with a safe environment. The local government code 233.061 gives the counties the authority to adopt and enforce a fire code. The Local Government Code 352.016 gives the fire marshal, the county fire marshal, the opportunity to inspect for fire and life safety hazards into existing buildings, multifamily dwellings, public buildings, and also allows to charge a fee for those inspections. Our fire code program that we're presenting today adopts a fire code and amendments and fee schedules. There'll be a public awareness and education period in between the adoption of the code and the enforcement of the code. Apply the fire code to the new commercial businesses that are coming up after we adopt the code, and then also apply the fire code to existing businesses that open up or that are open up at this time. Excuse me. As we said before, we've updated to the 2015 International Fire Code with the amendments. Also, the National Fire Protection Association NFPA Life Safety 101 code is the code that we use for the existing businesses in the county, and also then the NFPA 70 Electric Code 2011 edition. There's a fee schedule that we'll propose to you also, and the fee schedule reflects the approximate cost of the inspection personnel, materials used, administrative overhead to enforce this fire code. What we'll do with the new businesses with the fire code is we'll have plan reviews. We'll make them present us plans to look at the procedures according to what the International Fire Code says. We'll have site inspections of the business or location. Final fire finals are the final inspection before they open up for business, and then we'll issue a certificate of compliance, meaning they're good to go. Existing businesses pretty much will be life safety code enforcement, that 101 life safety code. Anytime there's occupancy changes in an existing business, we'll go in and inspect those. That's part of the inspection process, and we'll issue them also a certificate of compliance. The Local Government Code 233.065 allows the Commissioners Court to adopt a fee schedule, and it's based on building type, and it may set the fees and charges for the inspections and issuance of building permits and certificates under the Chapter 233. The fees must be set in amounts necessary to cover the cost of administrating and enforcing the subchapters, and then it says that the county will deposit these fees in a special fund to basically offset the administration and enforcement of the fire code. Here's a little history on inspections. If you'll notice up at the top, the asterisks on the last 3 years are the totals that we did on adoption and foster homes that we talked about a little bit. In 2018 and forward, those inspections might be down probably about 40 to 50 when we reduce away from the ones that we did in Fort Worth. If you take the 2017 figures and plug in what's on our proposed fee schedule, we're roughly 21,000, 22,000. It could fluctuate either way. Annual cost for adopting and enforcing the fire code. We have letters of support from the State Fire Marshal's Office, the Fire Prevention Association of North Texas, Fire Sprinkler Association, Texas Fire Marshals Association, Private Fire Protection Engineer and Consultant, and also the City of Fort Worth's Fire Marshal's Office. The actions that we'll come back and ask the court to do is, one is to adopt a fire code, and when we do that, what we would like to do is adopt the fire code. Say if we do it on June the 5th, then we would like to have 30 days plus 30 days before the code is enforced. That gives us a chance to do public education and outreach about our new fire code, and also helps us line up all of our website so that people can access that. Gives us time to work with IT on that. So we'll ask also to adopt a fee schedule with that public awareness enforcement. I kind of got them backwards. And then there's the one, Commissioner, you're looking for. Any questions?
So the fee schedule you're showing here for 17, is that going to be the fee schedule you're proposing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're not proposing any change?
No, sir. No, sir.
It doesn't exist right now.
It doesn't exist, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take it.
Is 30 days really enough for the public awareness?
I believe so.
You think so?
We're going to work with our new media person. Also, we have brochures that we'll have made up and distribute them. And then by putting information on our website, it'll give us time to get that ready also. Yes, sir.
Do you have penalty for those who don't comply?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's in the code.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks,
Thank
Randy.
you.
Thank you, Randy.
Mayor, that's all we have at this time.
Then we'll recess our open meeting and proceed to close to discuss items exempted under section 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Are you on? Are we on?
Yeah.
Having returned from our closed session, there being no business to conduct at this time, we are adjourned. And we'll not meet next week.